All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of We Create Music. I am your host, B. Vaughn, and today we have an extraordinary producer, very talented producer, Smitti Boi.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate
No
it.
doubt. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man. Long time coming.
Long time coming. Long time coming. But if you wouldn't mind, just start sharing your story with us and how you kind of got started.
In producing, as I started making beats, I think around 16. I found out about MTV Music Generator.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah. So I started making beats on there, and then I saved up some money to get a DR202 drum machine and a Cassidy keyboard. So I started imitating 3-6 Mafia beats. That was how I kind of started with that. And then I had a friend introduce me to FL Studio, and then from there it was like that was it. That's all I ever.
History.
Yeah. So started that, and then around 18 and 19, I ended up going to the military. You know, life happened, so I ended up going to the military, and yeah, man, stopped making beats for a while, man. I stopped making beats for a minute, and there was a guy in the military. He was from Guam, actually. He rapped, and he had FL Studio, and I was like, man, I remember I used to use that, and that's kind of how I got back into it again. And then it just like the passion never left, and then I kept doing it. Long story short, 2013, I had got pretty good with making beats, and I was like, man, I'm confident enough now to actually start sending stuff out. Yeah. And the first time I sent something out was to this guy's name is Frankie Crutches. He was in the Dipset. He's around with Dipset back in the day. Okay. Sent him some beats, and he sent something back, and it was Cassidy. So my first placement was a Cassidy placement.
Nice.
And from there, I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, this is it. I'm going to do this full time. Fast forward to 2013, I was having some issues in the military as far as like physical stuff. And I just couldn't really keep up no more. And I was like, man, I'm just going to do the music full time. And I got out, moved to Atlanta, because I was back and forth to Atlanta anyway. And people didn't even know I was in the military, but I was getting placements and everything. Wow. But I was like, you know what, I need to do this full time. And I was at a studio session with M16, the producer. And it was my first time meeting him outside of social media. And he was like, man, what do you do? And I was like, I'm in the military. He was like, why? And I think when he said that, I was just like, oh yeah, I got it. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that confirmation. And I was like, man, I'm done. And that was it, man. I moved to Atlanta, and here I am. So yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. So I've just been grinding it out.
Going from the military, being a military vet myself, I understand the types of things that happen within the military and how you can lose focus on the things that you really want to do. Right. And but I know you're glad you made that decision to leave the military. Yeah. So talk about how that transition went from you from getting out of the Army and then going full time.
I went head on. You know what I'm saying? Because I got out. And then I stayed in Maryland for about 6 months, and then I ended up coming to Atlanta. Then I came to Atlanta, and obviously I had free education, so I was like, well, let me. I actually had a panel with iStandard, and I was at SAE, and I was like, man, this place is pretty cool, and I want to learn how to engineer because I'm tired of paying engineers, and I want to learn. And the more I figured, the more information I know, the better I'll be able to do things, mixing and recording people, or whatever. So ended up walking around the school and was like, yeah, I'm gonna come here. So enrolled in the school, and that was pretty much it. And graduated from there, and just kept it going with the music. So like actually the last 6 months, maybe a year, I kind of stopped because I felt like I never took a break. Like the transition from the military, I never took a break because the military will break you down.
It'll break you down,
and you don't even know who you are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I had to figure it out. So that's when I started doing like my mental health stuff, going to therapy, and then, trying to just do things that I can to lose weight and stuff like that. And yeah, man, just to get my mental right. So now I'm kind of getting back in the gist of things and things like that, because I had to get my mental right, man, and figure it out. Because the music industry is not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
It's crazy. Thing. Yeah, it's crazy because all the things that I've probably been through with the military and the mental stuff you got to go through with that. You would think, the music could just be cake, man, but it's so many ups and downs, man. It can take a toll on you. So I had to just take a break and just figure out who I am, what direction I want to go with my music, what makes me happy, not living up to other people's expectations, and now this is where I'm at now. So now I'm good. I'm ready to kind of just really get back into it. And I never stopped. I was still sending out music and stuff like that. I wasn't really creating as much. I went in the creative space for like a while. Like I opened up FL or something and kind of dab with it and close the lab. I just could never get really inspired. And then, so now I'm just like, I'm back in, I'm cooking up every day or every other day or whatever. But I had so many beats in the stash, so it didn't really matter. Like I could take 3 years off and still be good. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, especially with the soulful beats, because everybody loves soulful joints, you know what I'm saying? So they're not going nowhere. So, but anyway, this is where I'm at now. So I'm in a good space. I'm back being creative, back going back out of, you know, events and stuff like that. I wasn't doing none of that, man. I just had to sit home and just, you know, and kind of travel here and there and just get my mental right.
So let's talk about that. I was going to bring it up a little bit later, but we'll talk about it now. Mental health. Why is that extremely important? Not just for music producers, but just people in general. Why is it really important for us to maintain our mental health?
Mental health is very important. I think we all have issues. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has issues. Nobody's perfect. No amount of money can ever change that. And I just wanted to learn more. As I was going through my process, I wanted to learn more about myself. And with the therapy, like I talk about it on social media, like, you know, it breaks you down. You know, something you have to really be ready for, because it breaks you down and it's open. It opens up old wounds that you thought was closed, because you have to get to the root of the situation. So it's kind of like you always opening up something. You know, it never stops. But you realize that everybody has issues, and when it comes to music, like I said, it's so up and down, and people quit, people give up, and it's just important to have your mental health, because you be depressed, man. Like it's so many artists and just individuals who are depressed, whether it's from work or just family stuff. But it has helped me. It just helped me view things differently. I can say that. You know. You know, it just mental health is important, man. It's very important.
Yeah, mental health is critically important. I don't think a lot of people kind of consider, you know, even just their own mental status as far as making sure they take care of themselves. Making sure that they deal with anxiety, depression, and any other type of mental disorder that really affects just human beings in general. And it's kind of like low key in the music community. Like people don't really talk about it.
And that's the thing, man. It's like people don't talk about it. And I'm like, man, I need to talk about it more, because there's been times where I sit in my room for weeks and just like not come out, you know, and it was even causing. Like my wife would be like, "What's going on? Like, you know, why you not? What's going on with you?" And it's just like, man, just so much stuff, you know. And then not even just music related, but just life related, you know, relationships and things, and it's just so much, and it can become overwhelming. And for some people, they break down and it goes really left field, you know. But I just think it's important to just get help and talk about what's going on with you. Talking to it with a friend or somebody is just very important. And I think, you know, a lot of people look at therapy as something where it's going to heal you. Like therapy don't heal you, you know. Therapy just give you tools that you need to actually get through it. Because you can never get rid of those traumas, man. Like once, you know, things that how you grow up as a child, you can't get rid of that. Like that, you can't just be like, okay, I'm deleting this out of my mind. It just doesn't work that way. But it gives you the tools to, whether it's just, hey man, breathe or you know, whatever. But one of the biggest adjustments I made was just like waking up a little more earlier, and from like 5 to 9 is my self-care. That's it. You know, that's whether it's just going to the gym to sit there in the sauna or something and read a book or whatever, you know. But that 5 to 9 is now for my self-care. You know, it's for my mental health, reading. If I want to play video games early in the morning, I can. Whatever calms me down, whatever's going to lead me into my day, then that's what
that's how I deal with mental issues.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, you know, whatever, because life is stressful, man. It's real.
Life is real.
Yeah, it's definitely real.
And I think that's what people don't see. Is that life is real. We kind of see, oh, they got all these placements. We see them at events and speaking on panels. So everything must be really good for them.
Right.
And we don't really understand the problems or issues that people may be going through on a day-to-day basis. And that just makes it refreshing, even for folks who are going to be watching, just to know that, you know, people deal with things on a day-to-day basis, and, you know, going to therapy and even having self-time give you those coping mechanisms to kind of deal with those things.
And then, you know, like this, I guess the stigma of a producer is like, oh, producers make so much money. Producers this, and this. And it's like, man, producers go through a whole lot, you know, and that's just with the music industry, but just life, you know what I'm saying? You got to deal with people expectations. Why are you not here yet? You know, I even had people do it to me, like, man, why are you not here yet? And it's like, hey, man, I'm where I'm supposed to be at. This is my journey. This is where I'm supposed to be, man. But for a lot of people, social media, like, you know, you go in there, you seeing these. A lot of people don't talk about it on social media, but if you talk to them behind closed doors, it's like, yeah, man, I be on social media and, you know, I get upset with myself and like, you know, am I in the place where I need to be at? And, you know, and you start comparing yourself. Now that's becoming mental, you know? So for me, even with social media, man, I had to change that and just follow people that inspire me and then I muted my whole timeline. And just, and the way I do it is just, if I want to see what's going on with you, I put it in there and then I just go check you out. Because I don't want to like get it. I want to stay in my lane. You know, I don't want to be swerving over. And, you know, I talk about that as well. Like, you just want to make sure you focus on what you're doing, your journey, and everybody else has their own journeys and they had their failures and things and that they went through to get to where they're at. So it's very important to stay in your lane, doing what you're doing, and don't let social media, because you, like I said, you got enough to deal with. And last thing I don't want to be worrying about is who getting the plaque or who doing this. Like that had nothing to do with me. And so I explain to people too, especially as a producer or engineer, man, like we're not artists. We can do this forever. We can be like Quincy. We can do this until we 80. So it's okay to take those breaks and then come back. You know, for me, a Grammy at 34 and a Grammy at 80 is still a Grammy.
Still a Grammy.
Yeah. You know, a plaque is still a plaque. So, you know, your time is going to come when it's supposed to. And when it comes, it'll probably be the best time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're probably not ready for it now because of your mental, you know, finances, you know, that's mental health. You know, people were like, man, I want these placements. Maybe it's not time for you because you don't know how to handle money yet. You know what I'm saying? And that can cause a whole nother thing. So there's just so much that people don't talk about. And over those 6 months to a year when I was taking that break, those are all the things that I was trying to just go through. And when I figured out like, hey man, I got to make myself happy. I can't live with other people's expectations and what they think I should be and what they think I should do and who they think I should work with and what placements I like. Nah, what do I want to do? When I started this, what made me happy? And, you know, and you got to go back to the root of that. And I think a lot of people don't go back and evaluate that. And then that's when they burn out. You know, you burn out because all the failures and then the family. After a while, it's just like, man, it's just overwhelming. I'm going to quit. And that's it. You know?
You usually find people who just give up and they just quit and they go, well, I'm not at this place yet. Oh, I didn't get the Grammy, or I didn't get the placement, or I didn't get the recognition, or I didn't get the whatever. And they just go like, man, forget it. I don't want to do this no more because it's not reaping the benefit that they wanted in the very beginning. You know, they kind of want it right now.
Everybody wants that instant gratification, man. And life doesn't work that way. You know, you have to work. You got to work, keep going, man. But like I tell people, the scariest thing to me is quitting. That's my, like, I don't fear nothing. Like, I don't fear death. I already seen death. I've been deployed and stuff like that. I already seen all that stuff. So, but my biggest fear is like quitting on myself and not knowing that I could have made it. Like, I'd rather keep doing this until I die and at least say, well, shoot, I tried it. You know, and if it didn't work out, it just didn't work out. But at least I know I kept going instead of just not knowing at all. You know, you talk to some people, it's like, yeah, man, I wish I would have. I can't stand talking to people, man. Like, you know, older people are just like, yeah, I wish I would have followed my dreams and did this. And it's like, they have those regrets, man. That's scary to me. You know, it's like you're not living your full life, your full potential. You know, so. Yeah,
living with regrets is not a good thing.
Nah, it's not, man.
But people always dwell on it.
Yeah, especially when you know you was good at something. Like, God gave me a gift to make music. Like, I don't know how to play no instruments. I don't know how to do none of that. But I know how to make music. That's a gift. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to not use my gift. You know, and it's bigger than music because, you know, now I'm able to inspire people in other ways outside of music. So everything has a bigger picture than just what you're doing. So if you tap into that, then that can lead into a whole nother world of other things, you know, which is inspiring people and things like that. And people don't understand that. People are watching you. You know, you got people in your family, you got kids watching you, and they're like, man, I want to see you make it. You know, and they're rooting for you, and you give up, and that shuts them down. Like, man, okay, maybe I can't do it if he can't do it. You know, like,
that's true.
Yeah, people are watching. It's people are watching you. Older people watching you. People, your peer group is watching you, and they just like, man, I want to see this. I want to see this happen. And for me, you know, it's like I got to keep going and showing people like, hey, man, this can really happen. You can really do it, and you can do it your way. You know, your journey. You don't have to do whatever. You don't have to be with the popular crowd that look like the winners. You know what I'm saying?
Look like the winners.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be your own individual. You know, it's like being in school. You got the popular table, and you got the regular kids. You know, who kind of do their own thing. I was the one with the kids who did their own thing. Like, I didn't like the popular table. You know, I like my own path, my own way, meeting my people on my journey. You know, and if it went over there, okay, cool. But I'm not running over there. It's very important to just stay on your path. What you got going on.
So how does that impact the stigma of music today? People really focusing on what other people are doing, because you see that on social media. Yeah. Everybody's always looking at what somebody's doing on social media and comparing their lives to what other people are doing, and then judging themselves to say, am I good enough to do what I'm doing? And I see this person here. Why am I not there? Right. You know, I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago when we talked about self-identity issues and the way that it reflects how. So I'll just be transparent. So there was a time when I was like in my producer path that I had a friend of mine who I was jealous of and didn't even realize it until I actually had to sit back and think about all the things that he was doing and all the things that I was doing. And I had to come to the realization that, man, we're on completely different paths. Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh man, I know he's gonna probably watch this back. I ain't gonna mention his name, but I was like, man, I'm like actually jealous. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that happening. You know, I never went through that. I kind of, like I said, for me, I just kind of just stay in my lane anyway. And when it comes to like friends and things of that nature, or people I work with, it's just like, or work with closely, it's like if they win at something, it's a win for me. Even if it doesn't like become income or anything, just, you know, they're inspiring me to keep going. Right. You know, like, man, okay, so you doing this, I can do it too. You know, it's just like if you pulled up with a Benz, it's, you know, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is fire. But I'm not gonna be mad at you. I'm just gonna be like, what did you do to get this? How can I get this? You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you tell me, and then I can take my steps on my journey to eventually get that car. So you just gotta just separate it, man, and just understand like everybody has their own. Everybody financial is different. The way they came up is different. Their morals is different. Everything is different. You know, it's like you're not gonna. Every tree is different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we are. We seeds. We kind of grew, you know, to something different. You're never gonna find the same tree. You're never gonna find the same shaped rock. Like we're our own unique people. You know, so it just, you know, there's no reason to ever feel like, oh man, they have something, because they have their own struggles. Like it might look good, but it's probably something else you struggle with. You know,
it may look good, but you never know. You never know the backstory. Yep. So let's talk about SAE and your experience, because you were producing before you went to SAE, and now you're producing after you went to SAE. Yeah. So talk about your experience pre and post SAE.
Well, obviously I learned how to record, like actually record in Pro Tools. And I just learned a lot from just like mixing, from a mixing standpoint, and being able to go into the studio and actually know what I'm talking about. So if I'm working with another engineer, well, if I'm in there with an artist and he has his own engineer, I'm able to say, hey, let's change this low end, or bring up this plug in, or even I had times where an engineer gets stuck on something and I'm able to go over there and say, well, you know, do this. And if I didn't go to school, I wouldn't have known some of this stuff. And it just helped me from a producer perspective. And then obviously after that, like, it's crazy because right after that, I kind of met AJ. And then I started sitting up under him, and, you know, we was mixing records, and then I learned even more from him as well. So, you know, it just, so SAE, it was a very great experience. I learned a lot, you know, because you definitely want to know stuff from the engineering side, you know, as well. So, but yeah, it's very helpful.
Yeah. So it kind of helps you speak the language.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because I kind of consider that, because I didn't go to school for music. And I know most people probably didn't go to school for music also. But and I'm assuming that you would say, yes, that it's helpful that we get some type of education so that we're able to speak the language when we go into the studios. Because I do find times that you go in the studio and you're like, yeah, I need you to check. Well, how you want this? I don't know. I just need you to fix whatever it is.
You can't really articulate like what you're trying to get across, you know. So now I can say, well, change the weight on the reverb, and they'll know exactly what I'm talking about, or, you know. So yeah, you want to get as much information as you possibly can get. You can never have enough information. So school, YouTube, university, reading. You got your phone, which is just open to the world. So yeah, there's just no excuses not to educate yourself anyway. So yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to something you said. So you talked about in your conversation just a moment ago about somebody pulling up in the Benz, and then you're going, wow, that's fire. And then saying, because the statement you made was hopefully that they will tell me how they got it. Yeah. Do you think that in the music industry, people kind of don't want to share information? So I guess I want to get your perspective. Yeah. Do you see that people want to share information, or they want to kind of hold information in and not kind of give people the keys to the kingdom?
I think in the music industry, people want to hold information, and that's life. Like that's the overall aspect. You know, people like to hold information, which is why it's important to educate yourself on your own time. If you got downtime when you're not making beats, read a book. You know, read something. Go in there and Google, ask the the questions or whatever too. But still ask people, because the dumbest questions are the ones you don't ask.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to say? No. You know, or either you're going to say yes. You know, and so it's still important to ask. But definitely it's people who just don't want to give you anything. Like they kind of beat around the bush, and it's just like, all right, man, cool. But I'm just going to go research this on my own and then get my own information. So
because I kind of find that you seek information and sometimes people don't want to kind of give it to you, so you got to kind of go figure it out. Like I go to a lot of music conferences when I have the time to go to them, and I kind of find that to be the biggest thing when you go to conferences is that they'll tell you just enough to kind of get you to a certain point, but they won't really tell you the real thing. Like I remember being at a conference one time, and somebody was getting ready to say all this stuff, and they were like, "Oh, you can't get a kid like that."
Yeah, see, that's with me, I will always give people information. Whatever you ask me, if I know, I'll tell you, and if I don't know, I'll say, well, I can go find out, or you can go find out, and then I'll let you know later or whatever. But for the most part, I just don't see what the big deal is. And what I realized, I can tell a room full of 1,000 people how I did this and this, and they probably not going to take action to go do it anyway. Like people don't want to do the work because they want that instant gratification. So most people who go to big seminars and all of that, like even like just anything, they not going to do the work. It's like, oh man, once they realize, oh, this is a lot. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, nah, I'm good. So why not give out the information? It's not hurting anybody. It's not, you're not taking my spot. Like I have my own lane. It's whatever. It's like you go to Walmart, you got different types of juices. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Walmart grape juice and you got Welch's grape juice. Like it's a lane, it's a space for everybody.
It's a space for everybody.
Yeah. So as people like it, it is what it is. So
yeah, because I think we operate in a scarcity mindset that if you get, I can't get.
Right.
And if you get that placement, I can't get the placement. Right. So we kind of want to be in this competition with one another and hold information back from one another and not really collaborate with one another. It kind of reminded, I was talking to somebody, they said, well, it's like a sport.
Yeah.
So if I see another producer, that's like my competitor.
Right.
And, I got to make sure that I'm being the best athlete I can within this music industry.
Yeah. I mean, you got to, if you're doing things, especially with business and things like this, you gotta have to be like 50-50. It's like you gotta be 50% like selfish because you gotta take care of you. And then you have to be 50% selfless. You know what I'm saying? You still should help other people. Because I'd rather give you information and you figure out something else and you get to the top to wherever you're trying to go and you get there and then now you there. And then you get another opportunity to get to somewhere further. And then I see you, and then you're like, man, Smitty, man, I appreciate you giving me that information. It got me here, now it got me here. And now that I'm here, I'm going to help you get here with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I look at things. It's just like, hey, let me help you. And if I can give you information, yeah, go ahead. Go use it. And hopefully you come back. And maybe some people won't, but that's fine as well. That's between them and the universe. I have nothing to do with that. But I don't mind giving information, man. It's just important to read. And reading is very important.
Reading
is very important.
Growing up, reading is fundamental.
Yeah. Read, hey, they say if you want to hide something from people, put it in the book. They don't read.
That's right.
So much information out there.
So much information out there that people just don't gravitate to the tools that are readily available to them.
Right. In the phone, right here in your hand, you can just get every piece of information you want. There's no excuse.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you face within this music industry as a producer?
I think the biggest challenge that I face is just the runaround from people. I feel like you don't find a lot of straightforward people. And I'm a straightforward person. It's just like, hey, man, like, do you want to work? How can we work together? How can we bring each other value? And then people just kind of go around certain things and give you the whole runaround and until something happens. And then they come back and it's like, oh, man, what you working on? Because they see you kind of might be posting something or whatever. And then you might not hear from them again. And then, all of that kind of stuff. It's just so you got to kind of weed out the people who just talkers. I think that's really the biggest challenge for me. It's just like, who really trying to do this, and that's really the biggest challenge I face as far as the industry.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I remember we had a conversation where was it? The bowling alley?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where we were?
Yeah,
I think so. And I was kind of telling you I was going to put this show together and things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember you said something to me in the vein of, I want to see you do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was something like that. And then when I started kind of putting all this whole thing together, I think it was like through either DM or text.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I don't know if the right words was like, I'm proud of you for pursuing it, or it was something. It was something to that vein.
Like you took action.
Yeah, because you see a lot of people that want to say that, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, but they never really do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like talk is cheap, man. Literally,
talk is cheap.
Yeah.
Until
action,
you can actually
put
action.
Yeah, you gotta put action to it. You can tell me, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. That's cool. Like I don't get hyped by even with placements and stuff. Like I don't like, yeah, man. I'm gonna put this record out. It's like, okay, let me know, because just talk like until I see it and see the paperwork or whatever I'm need to see. And then other than that, I'm not getting excited about it. Like for what? Yeah, because then it's gonna lead. That's why again people who quit because they have these expectations, and then something don't happen, and it's like, man, that didn't happen. It's like you should kind of disconnect. Yeah, you gotta disconnect, man. It's very important.
Very important. I don't think people really. You got to take time for yourself.
Yeah, you do. You got to
take time for yourself. You got to disconnect.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to, man.
So talk about how you became A&R.
Well, I met Stally through AJ, and it was pretty simple, man. He invited him to the studio. He was actually going to record a record for me, and we ended up kind of catching the vibe. And he was just like, man. We discussed me coming over to his label Blue Collar to help him with a EP. So I just went over there for that, to help him with that situation and just kind of help him with producers and things that. Like I didn't do any songs for him myself. It was just more really from an A&R perspective. And that was it. It was just for an album. Learned a lot from him and the way he moves and more things from the industry. Met a lot of great people, great artists. So it was a great experience though. So
okay.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was a great experience.
It was great, man. I appreciate it. Even allowing me to do that, So yeah.
Do you think that is something that you would want to do again?
Yeah, of course. Like I like A&R projects. I'm not selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like I love seeing people win. So if producers are really dope or I really believe in them and they're really working and they send me stuff, and I don't mind trying to get it placed, for them. It's not hurting me, man. Like to help somebody out. It's not. You're not going to take my space. Like it's too much. It's too many artists. It's too many things. So, but definitely, I love A&R and projects. I have some stuff in the works now that I'm working on, pretty much in the same capacity as well. So
okay, dope.
Yeah.
Dope. So let me go back. So how do people? So we were talking about scarcity mindset versus like an abundance or collaborative mindset. So you operate from a very abundant, collaborative perspective. So how does someone get to that level? How does someone move from being, I guess I'll say, thinking in that scarcity way or in that lack way to abundance?
Just mindset. Everything is mindset. Being optimistic. Just believing in yourself. It sounds cliche, but that's just really what everything is. Like you have to believe that you're going to accumulate placements and money and great things. If you have these negative thoughts, man, like nothing's going to happen for you. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like it's all about your mindset and your soul. Your soul don't know the difference between what you thinking and what you really, what I'm saying. Like you have to just kind of know. Like I'm optimistic no matter what. I'm cool with that. I never really looked at anything like as a loss. Like I know people like, oh man, I took this loss.
Yeah.
Like that never ever crossed my mind. It's like, no, that's a lesson. Like if this happens, what can I learn from this? You know what I'm saying? So I can move forward and not be so hard on myself. And I think just having that open mindset, that optimistic mindset, that's how you kind of get everything.
Yeah.
So because if you close minded, how can you receive anything? Right?
Yeah, that's right.
You close minded.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I heard somebody say if you got your fists closed, how can you expect to receive something in it if you get your fist closed all the time?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
So you gotta have an open hand, man, and be ready to receive and change your mindset. Mindset is everything. Treat people nice. And that goes back to learning about yourself. When you learn about your own, when you can face yourself in the mirror and be like, man, I'm kind of effed up. I have my own. Not like really, sometimes you have to, and a lot of people don't do that. You got to really look in the mirror and be like, man, I'm really effed up.
Yeah, man. So having the mindset to kind of move into that abundance thinking is critical.
Yeah,
Whether it's in
definitely.
music, whether it's in life in general, just not being closed off to just people, opportunities, things like that.
And like I say, if you really look in the mirror at yourself and be like, okay, I'm not perfect, so I know nobody else is perfect. Like nobody's perfect, and everybody had their shortcomings and things like that. So when it's emotional intelligence, I guess you could say. So when you're speaking to people, it's just like, man, I know what it is. Like, so
yeah. So I want to get your take on the culture of music today. Like, where do you see it? I guess I'll say some of the challenges that it currently has, and some of the things that you kind of see in it that are like bright spots within the music culture.
Well, I feel like, I don't want to say real music, but I feel like hip hop is coming back. Like I feel like people are really getting ready to get back to the bars now. Like I think people are kind of done having fun.
Get to the bars. I miss those.
Yeah. So I think people kind of like they still want to have fun. You're gonna have those always have those fun records, but I think people are even ready to just even hear bars on fun records. You know what I'm saying? And which is great for me because I don't want to say sample based producer, but I love sampling. And I love the hip hop. I love that, and the fact that it's going back to that is great. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see where it's gonna be in 5 years because I feel like everything just revolves. It's gonna just keep going back in circle anyway. So, but thank God, sampling. Is, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not going. If you listen to music, even like R&B now, it's starting to get back to that soulfulness, like Nicole Bus and all that. Like it's getting back to that soulfulness again. So I think people forgot where R&B feels like.
Well, I do too.
Yeah.
Because I'm an R&B head more than a hip hop head. But I think people forgot what R&B really was because they saw the trap and B kind of took over, and now you got people trying to sing over like trap beats.
I can't.
That's not R&B.
It's not because I can never like R&B to me is like I gotta feel it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like I don't even listen to music. Like I don't listen to no music. Like even like when I'm riding, like I listen to like jazz. Like I got a Spotify playlist I like to listen to, jazz, and podcasts. Believe it or not, I listen to really no music. Like no music. I have people around me who'll be like, check this out. Or this artist is dope, then I go check it out. But like me listening to the radio or me, like I'm cool.
Yeah, I don't listen to the radio.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to nothing, honestly. Like honestly, I don't even want to hear no words. Like I don't want to sound crazy. Like when it comes to music, I don't even want to hear nothing. I just want to hear like some smooth jazz, some calming music, and that's it. But that's just me.
Yeah. So in 5 years, where hip hop will be, R&B will be, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I do believe it's a revolving process. I read a book called The Song Machine. Okay. And it talked about, it was that revolving process. Every 5 to 7 years, it kind of comes back to what it originally was in the beginning. And you are starting to see that. So I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad I stayed down. I'm glad I didn't switch up. I stayed down with what I do, and who I really respect for that, like Ninth Wonder. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because Ninth Wonder, like he never switched up. Like this is what I do. Either you rock with it or you don't. And I think that's one of the biggest things I ever got from him. It's like this is what I do. Like I'm not switching up. I'm not doing 808s. This is what I do. He was, but you got to think he was even getting Beyonce placements. Yeah. And stuff like that off of what he does. Like he didn't, even with the Destiny Child stuff, like he didn't change anything. He just sample bass and rock with it.
Kept it moving.
Yeah. So I'm glad all that's come back around. So everybody can hit me up for
these soulful beats.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. You already got a stockpile.
Yeah, ready to go.
Ready to go. You be like, yo, I need that. You be like,
yep, I'm good. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of producers are gonna fall off because of that. A lot of people can't sample. Like sampling. I mean, it's different between getting a loop and then just looping it as some drums, but like sample chopping. Nah, it's not for everybody. Yep. So I'm kind of hyped about that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So I know people are always interested in producers and what they use as far as their gear and things like that. So you talk a little bit about kind of because I know you was on FL. I don't know if you still.
Yeah, I'm still on.
Still on FL, but I know you were using the push.
Yeah. So I use FL. Man, Black Metaphor taught me into getting the push though. Like he came to my house, man. He was like, man, you got to try this, man. It's crazy. He came to the house, and I was like, man, this is amazing. And I ordered one the same day, and I got it. I took like a week, and I didn't do nothing else. It was like a week, and like I was doing like 18-hour days, man. Just trying to learn it, and I learned it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I fell in love with it, and then I was like, man, I just got to go back to FL because FL for me is just so easy. Where like I know what I want when I want it, and I'm like a very impatient person. Like I just want to get my ideas out. Like that's it. I can come back and do all the other stuff later. But I felt like with Ableton, for me, it was just taking too long to get those ideas out. So I had to go back to FL Studio. But I use Ableton with people who have Ableton because you can do the link.
The link
joint. Yeah. So it's very dope for like collaborating. Like that's why I love it. But I gotta stick with FL. Even my drums are just different in FL. Like the way I can swing it. And I just know what I want. I've been on there for like 20 years, man. Yeah. So I gotta stick with what I know.
Yeah, see, that's how I feel about Reason.
Yeah.
Even though I know people hate Reason though.
We gotta stick with what you know. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, I know I got the machine. I love the machine. I love the way it just works. But the only thing I hate about the machine is the software. Yeah. I just don't like the way it's sequenced. Yeah. So I do all the creation in machine, and then I'll drag it all out.
I tried MPC.
I had the MPC.
Yeah, I tried it.
And then I went and sold it. Yeah. And got the machine because I had it like a week, and I was like, nah, I can't. Deal with this thing. I'm just use the FL, man. Like that's what I know. That's what I'm good at. Like and one thing too, when I went to Ableton, because I felt like it was some things in in Ableton that wasn't in FL. But once I started really getting into Ableton, and then I went back to FL, I was like, oh, all this stuff is in here too. So then I, end up learning. And FL is so much stuff. It's endless. Like if you really dig deeper in it, it's so much stuff. I think I'm gonna need a tutorial. Yeah, I have FL. Yeah, but I've never used it. Maybe I bought it. Yeah. And then I used it maybe once or twice. Yeah. But I haven't opened it up. Get on it, man. It's pretty. I need a tutorial.
It's simple. It's not hard. I got you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate that. So for those that may not know, talk about the body of work that you've done.
Work for, let me see, produced for CeeLo Green, Curren, B.o.B, Grizzley, man, Davies, a lot of people, man, over the years, kind of added up. So a lot of underground stuff. So I got a lot of music out there. So
if y'all don't know, check them out for real. Yeah, Smitti Boi.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff. So
So when you got your first placement with Cassidy, right? So how did you kind of deal with that from an emotional perspective? Because I know usually, I got my first placement. Yes, we get to.
It was actually pretty interesting, man, because go back to M16. The way it happened was when I sent the beat, the artist was like, Crutch was like, hey man, can you send me the track outs? Because I was making beats with stereo speakers. You know how back in the day you had that. So I didn't have like actual studio monitors. So my mixing probably was horrible. Because those things, Yeah. So I was like, man, I heard you never send track outs. Like that's what I always heard. So I ended up reaching out to M16 on Twitter, and I'm glad he responded back. And he was like, look, man, scared money don't make money. Just go ahead and send them. Like, you good. You should be all right. What you gonna lose? And I'm glad I sent it. So I sent them, and they end up obviously mixing it, and they came back crazy. And what happened was I got the email. He was like, yo, go check this out. And I went in the car and I sat there. I'm like, man, that sounds like Cassidy. And come to find out it was Cassidy. I was like super hyped. That's when I realized, because it didn't take me long to get that placement. Like I literally it was like a day. I just got on Twitter and I was like, man, I'm about to just start sending out beats. And I went on Twitter and put like need beats in a search or something like that. And all of it came up and I just started sending out stuff. And like it would happen like literally like the next day. And I was like, man, oh man, I could do this. If this is gonna happen this fast, then I'm good. And it didn't happen that fast after that. But but it was great, man, because I was able to like have relationships from that, and it stemmed to a lot of other things too. So I ended up going to New York to meet him, Crutch, and sat in the studio with him. Then I met a producer by the name of Peoples. He's a Fetty Wap producer, and then I ended up building a relationship with Vinyls. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Vinyls, but he's a great producer as well. So I built relationships through that situation. So
yeah, see, I think those are the things that people kind of want to happen on a day-to-day basis. Like, okay, I made a beat. I sent a communication out. They're like, and they got a placement, just like that. Yeah. And I think the reality is that most time it don't.
Nah, it don't definitely happen like that. Yeah,
And I think today with social media, you see a lot of people DMing everybody about, hey, bro, check out my beats. I got X, Y, and Z, and it's like,
Yeah.
You get so many a day, and it's like, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, there has to be a different strategy that people can use to kind of still accomplish that process,
Right.
but without being, without bombarding people on a day-to-day.
It's professional ways of doing stuff, man. Like, I feel like I get a lot of inboxes, and they're just like, a lot of times I don't even reply because it's just so unprofessional. And I be feeling, I could be wrong, but I just be feeling like if your initial introduction is already off, everything else is gonna be off as well. Like, I'm cool. Like, I don't.
Hey, yo, fam.
Yeah,
check out my stuff, bro.
It's just certain ways to go about it, man. Like, more professionally. Like, you gotta figure out an elevator pitch or something. I don't know. I think people don't realize, like, it's still a business. You know, not everybody's the same, but you know, you gotta have a different approach. Like, I don't just be like, "Yo, bro, you need some beats," or just DMing people beats. And it's just like a certain
elevator
approach.
pitch.
Yeah. You gotta have like an elevator pitch. So,
if y'all know what an elevator pitch is, Google an elevator pitch. Right. There's a reason why it's called elevator pitch, because it is supposed to, you give your pitch as you're riding the elevator.
Right.
And from the time to get from the bottom to the top, that's how you are supposed to give your pitch.
Right.
And it only lasts like 30 seconds.
Right. So you telling somebody, man, I'm the dopest artist, and like, nobody cares, man.
History.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah. So what advice would you give somebody coming into this music industry?
Just make music for you. That's the biggest thing. I would say make music for you. Don't worry about what's going on. Like, make the type of music that you want to make. And if people like it, then cool. If they don't, then okay, cool as well. You know, for me, like, I kind of look at it like I'm an artist, like a painter or something. And I have a portrait. When I make my beats, that's my portrait. And I'm selling it to you like, hey man, this is my portrait that I created. Do you like it? And you're like, I don't really like it. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. If you don't like it, I'm gonna put it back on the shelf because somebody else might like it. That's how I look at my music. So it's never like no hold ego or you know. I get turned down every day. Like, nah, this is not working for us. And it's like, okay, that's fine, because it might work over there for somebody else. Or whatever. So, you know, that's the biggest thing. Just make music for you. Don't get caught up in what's on the radio or anything, because it takes the fun out of it. And I feel like music is supposed to be free. It's not supposed to be a job. You know, it's supposed to be creative. Like, you're supposed to be able to go in here and make whatever you want to make. And sometimes you make stuff for you. You know, like, nobody cares. You know, I make stuff. It's just like, I'm gonna keep this for me. Like, I'm just gonna ride around with this. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know? I think people forget that, because, like, I understand you get in the music business, and that's another thing too. You know, if you're making that transition, like, understand that this is a business now. You know, especially if you're going from like a hobby or just making beats just to make it. Like, you gotta understand the business. And like, the biggest thing, I think for me, like, when I got ready to make that transition, I just again went back to reading. And reading books to educate myself on publishing, copywriting, just the stuff that you need to know. So when people come at you with these things, you know what you're talking about. And then they feel like, okay, well, he might have too much information. I don't want to get over on him because he knows more, you know, because people, if you don't know nothing, they're going to get you. You know what I'm saying? That's just with anything. Like, I mean, that's like mechanics. You know,
you don't know anything about vehicles, they're going to try to get you.
Yeah, they're going to get you because they know you don't know. So, so it's very important just to, again, educate yourself. And I think a lot of people just come in with the mindset of just make beats. And it's like, and that's when they signing all this crazy stuff. But if you're learning like what a pub deal actually does and things like that, then you'll know how to negotiate those things when it comes time to. And you'll know like what you want from that, because you know what it is. So you're not just listening to what your attorney's saying. You can tell your attorney, well, no, this is, you can do it this way. And you can make creative deals and do things more creative and learn how to barter with artists in a certain way, not just, oh, I'm just going to barter, you give me a verse. It's like, no, I want to, you know, you can just make it creative.
Absolutely.
So the more information you have, the more creative you can be. So
it's good stuff.
So
where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter, Instagram at The Real Smitti. That's TheRealSmitti. And that's on Twitter and that's on Instagram. So.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff, brother. I appreciate you being on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
No doubt.
It's been a minute, man.
It's been a minute, though. I know, right?
Yeah, man.
Been a minute. We're gonna have to link back up, go bowling or
something.
Something.
Right. I had to teach you how to use this FL.
But
I'm about to work on some tutorials and stuff too, man. For YouTube, like, I'm trying to start putting out more content, so I'm getting all that stuff as well. So I can help people like through tutorials and with FL and maybe how to get these drums and just provide value to the the producer community. So be on the lookout for that, and I will put it up on my social media as far as like a YouTube link once I get all that stuff together.
That's what's up, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and if you haven't, like, go to the site, Smitty Snacks, right?
Smitty Beats.
Smitty.
No. Oh, you talking about the kit?
Yes, the kit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the website. You got to get the website, SmittyBeats.com.
Yeah, SmittyBeats.com, yeah.
But the pack.
Yeah.
Smitty Snacks.
Yeah, the Smitty Snacks. Yeah.
Got to get the Smitty Snacks. Yeah. I purchased the Smitty Snacks, and yo. Yeah. I got some other stuff. Like I said, I'm getting it all together, man. Like I said, I'm kind of just getting back into the swing of things. So, over the next few months, I'm gonna have some content and kits and stuff, man. Like I said, I just want to continue trying to bring as much value to to the producer community as possible. So yeah. So y'all be on the lookout.
Yeah, definitely.
Brother,
man,
pleasure once again.
Hey, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Hey, we out, ladies and gentlemen.